How's my hair?
It's amazing. Your hair is perfect as always. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mike Fadum, also known as Ambassador Kel. I am your community manager, and we are joined today by lead ship and UI artist Thomas Maroney.
Hi.
And concept artist Hector Ortiz.
What's up?
Hello, guys. How you doing today?
Great.
Good. I apologize, folks, that we started a little late. As some of you saw on Twitter, I had a root canal yesterday, which threw off my whole week, and I was trying to just get one thing done today before I started the stream. And I managed that. I got one thing done.
Yay, one thing.
Now that guy on Reddit can talk about how lazy I am some more. Okay, cool. Someone else insults my hair. We're here to talk about the new Command Dreadnought cruisers, which just got announced on Tuesday and came out into the game today. So this is an update to update to one of the classic ships from Discovery, and then getting Klingon players another ship as well. So this is the Baran the Cardenas being updated into the Baran, and the Koj class being put into the game as Klingon classes. So what was the decision process between doing these ships now?
Well, we were definitely, thankfully, we announced Rise of Discovery, so it's out of the bag that Lorca and Landry will be in the game as themselves, reprising their roles, and they'll be on the Baran. The whole scenario takes place on the USS Baran before Lorca gets transported in the Mirror Universe, and Mirror Lorca comes to us, before the Baran is destroyed. So we definitely wanted, before that happened, players to get their own Cardenas class ship, and so it was a no-brainer to pair that up, right before the launch of Rise of Discovery, and then from there, we've done this a few times now of updating the design to the 25th century, and so we knew we wanted to do that for the Cardenas and make a new ship for that. And then when it comes to Discovery Klingon ships and which ship to pick, the scale disparity between the Federation and Klingon ships is pretty big.
Yeah.
The Klingon ships are much bigger as a rule than the Federation ships. And so since the Cardenas is on the bigger end of ships for the Fed Discovery, we sort of picked one of the biggest Klingon ships we could, just so that we still had wiggle room down the line for other, Fed and Klingon ships going forward, because we wanted to make sure that any slightly less large, medium-sized Klingon ships could match with smaller Discovery ships that we might decide to release in the future.
Cool. Sweet. Well, why don't we dive in and take a look at this bad boy? Hector did send me his concept art before we got started, and then, again, crazy day, I left it downstairs. So we're just going to have to look at this thing in all of its glory in-game. So, Hector, talk a little bit about the design of this and how you were going about updating the Cardenas class.
Yes, so we tried as much as possible to retain the original feeling of the Discovery ship, the whole overall shape. Thomas helped me a lot to stay on focus, because sometimes you go crazy and you want, I want to do this. No, let's pull back a little bit. Let's put this thing here, and it was super fun. I did manage to get away with the orange things, the orange pencils. I don't know. Thomas was like, Thomas, let's do this time. The yellow thing.
Yeah.
Please me.
It's been kind of a running theme with the 2410 Disco ships,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, I want to try to get away from the cop car
Colors,
Yeah.
Since we had the black, the white, the blue, and I was like, let's cut a little bit with the orange and yellowish colors.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me, always when we're doing so much of designing ships, everybody just has their sort of gut bias that it's just, I like it this way and I like it that way, and it's really hard to have any sort of objective argument about why way A is better than way B. I mean, sometimes
art is subjective in general.
But I mean, sometimes there are things that are clearly that works better than that. But it is funny to me when you're doing a project like this, and which little pieces people latch onto is that's not the Cardenas anymore. That's not the Shepherd anymore, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then for different people, it's often different pieces of the ship. So getting to the point where if we can all sort of agree that we're at a happy medium between pushing it further and still being recognizable as a kind of a descendant of the original Discovery ship, then we're pretty happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. And they got the saucer at the front And we were, oh, you cut the saucer? We'll show you how to cut the saucer. And we cut the saucer back, you know, and I think it worked better. I think it works really nice with the ship.
I
the
love
way everything integrates, you know.
Yeah.
Move forward. It's a ship that moves forward, even it's standing still.
I love the nickname that just popped up in your fiction blog too. But I love the nickname you guys gave the ship too.
The Battle Axe.
It's a Battle
It was
Axe,
Bill Yates, SDO's art lead, came up with that, and I'm like, oh man, that's too good. I wanted to include it in the blog.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah. It's perfect.
But it's actually true.
Yeah, it's canon now too. That's what everyone calls it. All right, so what are some details on this guy we should be looking for?
Let me say that the model was actually built by Tobias Richter and his team.
Thank you, Tobias.
It's another, and Tobias actually, all three of the ships going out in this bundle, Tobias and his team did. The Baran, the Cardenas, and the Koj. I mean, all at different times, obviously, but Tobias has been a really big help to us. We're really happy to keep working with him. He always puts out really great stuff, and so he sends us the models, and then I bring them into the game. Sometimes I need to make new materials for them. So again, credit to Tobias for executing on Hector's concept really, really well. It's a really slick design.
Yeah.
The deflector, I think, is a great place to start when talking about really cool details for this ship.
Is that the deflector down there?
Yeah. It's just something new. I mean, that's one of the things about the people, I think, who haven't worked with a concept artist don't really appreciate what they're really good at and why it's such an important skill until you work with someone as talented as Hector.
Ooh.
Because the deflector, that sort of came from nowhere, and it's different, but it still feels like a piece of
It
Star
still
Trek
feels
tech.
like a Starfleet deflector.
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
looks different than any deflector we've ever seen before.
Yeah,
like
the idea was mostly how because we always see the kind of the dish in the front.
Yeah.
I always try to imagine what happened behind.
Mm-hmm.
What are the parts that we can't see behind us? I was like, okay, maybe we can expand on that saucer stretch motif so
Right.
people can see what's inside the ship.
Yeah. And then we can, this is what we're always realigning to send out
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
whatever
Reversing.
science we need to do this week to
Yeah.
solve the problem.
Well, it ended up working too with the fiction of the ship where it creates an ion storm, so it feels
Yeah.
like a Tesla coil kind of
Yeah.
device, right? So it was a really, it wasn't really, that was kind of a happy accident, but
Yes.
it came together really, really well.
That
Yeah.
wasn't part of our original conversation. I'm learning about this thing right now
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you do stuff like this and they take over.
Yeah.
They see something. Oh, this looks like this. Let's do this something else.
Right,
This
right.
other thing.
I just realized this is like an air duct right here going from
It
the
looks like
deflector
an
into
air
the ship. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm
Yeah.
just imagining somebody crawling around in
Right,
there
right.
to sneak
Clink,
in.
clink, clink,
All right. Well, let's talk about the four nacelle look. That's not unique for Star Trek by any chance, but it's not something you see that common. How did you go about updating these guys? Hector?
All right. So the first thing I did was eliminating the blue stripe from the nacelles. That was the first thing because it's something that I see when this ship is flying, it's in space. All I see are these four blue lines all the time.
Yeah.
So I decided this time let's minimize the blue. Let's let the collectors in the front do their job, and the rest of the blue we minimize it. It's there, but not that prominent.
Right.
That was the most important part.
Are these the see-through nacelles again?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's something else we're trying to do. Like, look what's inside each one of these things.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, it came out really well. I really like the way this handled, and that's actually something in the Discovery nacelles too. They don't have the big long strips anymore, so it fits really well with what they're doing on the Discovery ships. And there is blue grill on the top. If you look at the nacelles from the top,
Yes,
there's
yeah.
a little bit, but it's not. It's really subtle.
Yeah.
Now it looks more mechanical. There's
Yeah.
something going on there. Instead of being just blue lights, there's
Right.
something going on there.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
actually drawing something
Yes,
from
there's
whatever
something
this
happening.
is.
Right.
Yeah. Thomas probably knows what this is, being a member of the champion James T. Jerks.
Trivia team.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, look at that angle, how it looks.
Yeah, I really.
The ship looks good from
man.
pretty much any angle,
Yeah.
you guys.
It absorbs the light so nicely from the
Yeah,
angle.
there's I really love I love a lot of things about this ship. It's every time we do 2410 version of a Discovery ship, I get excited because we come up with some, like Hector mainly is the one coming up with some really cool takes on things, and the Garen was such a great design, and this I think is another really like there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here. All the sawtooth detail
really
part of the saucer is really cool. I really love from the profile how the bridge module swoops back and then has the cut. It gives it a really nice profile that also gives a little bit of height but not too much. Gives a little bit of a naval feel without being super tall. So I think this is another really cool reinterpretation of the Discovery stuff that still keeps STO's visual identity, which we worked really hard over the last few years to tease that out. And now we're really hitting our stride, and I'm glad we have the opportunity with Discovery to take something that is grounded in canon, but then really put our own spin on it, since we are in the 25th century. And that way, if the Discovery aesthetic isn't your thing, but you've been playing STO for a while, you can still get this ship, and you don't even have to think about Discovery if you don't want to. You can just enjoy, how this ship looks, because it stands on its own.
Now, important question: if this thing had saucer separation, would both of these just fly off as spitting blades of death?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
I don't know. Hector drew it first, so I think he gets to call that.
Yes. It just spins all of it.
Let's see.
I really also like the kind of nook there where the saucer meets the hull. You have some more vent lines, kind of
here?
The armpit, I guess.
Oh yes, we had to put. I don't like when people do elements meets like this and there's nothing in between, almost like these two lines. And then nothing happened, like the Edgewing where they open and there's nothing inside. Nope, that's not gonna happen. Let's use it. Let's put people.
Let's put stuff there. This is, this makes it kind of look like the whole thing can rotate backwards and forwards too.
There could be any number of functional things. One of the things people don't realize is that heat is actually a big problem in space, because vacuum is actually a really good insulator. So any heat that your ship generates stays on your ship. That's why when the shuttle is in orbit, the shuttle bay doors are always open, because they have radiators on the inside of the doors that radiate the heat of the ship away from the shuttle. So something like that. I mean, that's a kind of a good design for like a radiator. There are a lot of different ways you could assign function.
Well, and part of the fun of your job is coming up with things to explain all the doodads and boba lips we put on here.
Also, lines like that make everything look sturdier. It makes everything look harder, because the ship is. I don't know how solid it is until you see these little elements.
I do have to say, I love this shuttle bay door that's like a bodega is closed thing rather than the usual like force field. That's pretty neat. We were having fun the other day when we were getting the screenshot for Thomas's fiction blog of me going, okay, so where's the docking bay on the saucer? Is it this thing? No, that's a port. Okay, well, we ended up guessing.
It ended up being a little ambiguous. So that's fine.
A little bit. Cthulhu wants to know if Hector believes it's very cold in space. B. Burge 1701 just had a mental picture of the Discovery saucer section spinning up and then flying off like a frisbee. I approve of this.
It's Xena's
shocker. You have to go when you throw it. It's very important. Michael Hazlitt wants to know where the impulse engines are.
They're in the back there. They're pretty small on the ship.
They're the orange things right here? Yeah. Those are the impulse engines. Are these like reverse torpedo tubes?
They're torpedo tubes.
Yeah.
They're not
firing backwards. Yeah.
That's
what reverse.
I'm
so sorry, Captain Thomas. You're going to be revoking my science officer credentials soon.
Yeah, we went with the small impulse engines.
Cool. Well, why don't we fire up the Taylor and see?
Yeah, I was actually really impressed with how well this thing mixes with the Cardenas.
This is always a treat, because I never see the shields in action until I come to these things.
All right. So first of all, we got the lighting here is not great. I apologize, but let's take a look at all the different materials you can do. Ooh, I already liked Starfleet Discovery Type 1 on there.
Yeah, all the Discovery Starfleet materials are pretty cool.
Yeah. We got the NX, the NX refit, and you know what? I'm going to go to Earth Space Dock. It's going to take a minute, but better lighting would be better.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, Tobias, he modeled this, and it's always fun to see somebody who's not in the building what they take your concept and come up with. But he did a really good job of like interpreting a lot of the details and stuff. I was really happy when I got it back. Tobias is also really good about modeling in a lot of the panel lines and stuff. So it's a very like layered model. Catches the light.
But not only following concept, he also follows your style at building that thing.
Yeah.
Because I've seen details in that ship that I've seen you doing in your ships when I give you concept.
Yeah.
Stuff that I don't do that he invents,
right?
That he also did. So that's really impressive from somebody from outside.
Yeah,
outsourced.
Really cool.
Tobias is really really good at picking up details. He's a big Star Trek fan, so he's very attentive about stuff.
There we go. That looks better.
And then, and sometimes I will take one of his models and do a detail pass on it after I get it. So that's where some of that comes from is just to make sure.
There's some integration pass.
Yeah. So they added some of the like little square vents and stuff. That stuff I added when I got it back.
Man, I'm so glad those
Type
red
0
lines are
looks
there.
neat on this.
Right? So clean.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Are we already at 4:30? Wow. Okay, we got another ship to go through.
Yeah, we started.
So sit down, take a load off, enjoy the free break I gave you.
Because I thought it was late.
We're so sorry, Jeremy.
Yeah, we started a bit.
I know how that is. I did that a few minutes ago.
Schedule.
Ooh, 8B looks good too.
Man, this ship looks really nice. with
Upgrade is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, let's do some advanced playing. We're just gonna randomize it, see what we get.
Boom.
Ooh.
So there's the Cardenas saucer with the Cardenas nacelles and
the Baran pylons.
Yeah.
So if we put
Which I think actually looks really cool. Like
I was nervous when I was doing this ship because of ship
and you can have
integrations.
different saucers on top or bottom if you like.
different nacelles. Yeah.
Different nacelles,
'Cause
sorry.
we can only mirror them on top or bottom. So.
But that's still cool. That's
it's
like a,
more options.
Yeah. Oh man, ooh, that looks real good. It's just a Cardenas in a Type 0, but it still looks really good. Let's sort some things out.
Well, what do you know?
Ooh, it's not bad. I like it.
This thing's 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sweet. All right, well, folks.
Yeah, that's also part of what I do when I get his model back is I have to make sure that everything fits together, and so I massage things, move things around, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. What material is that?
That is Discovery Starfleet Type 3.
Okay.
I'm going to stick a Type 0 on it.
No.
Ooh, yeah.
We really like that.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody 3D print me this. Not me. I can't afford it anymore. Thomas can do it. He has 17 ships.
As with all Discovery canon ships, you cannot print the Cardenas, but you can print the Baran.
Right. So you have to go to full Baran before you can 3D print it. Yeah. It makes perfect sense. That's cool. All right. Well, I'm not going to show you guys the shield visuals because that's on the blog. So go enjoy that in the blog. I am going to now switch to my Cleon character, and we can take a quick look at the Koj. Koj? Is that how you pronounce it?
I've been pronouncing it Koj.
Okay. It's probably Koj, really, if we're honest. Also, I just need to point out, someone on there said Thomas is the only one with a canonical rank of captain, but our game made Shield of Tomorrow canonical to our game, and in the final episode of Shield of Tomorrow, they mentioned both Admiral Fatum and Admiral Moroni, right. So actually Thomas and I are equal rank. Thank you very much.
Well, so I've had to retcon that as being that's my uncle. Since I don't think Captain Moroni got promoted quite yet.
No, or in the past.
Right.
He used to be an admiral.
Right.
And then he took a warp nacelle to the knee.
No, then I went back in time, stole some humpback whales, and got demoted.
There you go. All right, let's just quickly move because we got some time. Right, Jeremy, you're just hanging out there?
Yeah.
You want him to?
No, I'm not in any hurry.
All right.
So this ship surprised me because not every Klingon ship has been my cup of tea from Discovery. This one, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I started putting shield visuals on it, and I was like, oh my god, this ship is amazing
There's
looking.
some cool stuff you can do with the materials on this ship.
Yeah, and it looks like we actually have some on there already.
You have the Iconian set on there, so turn that
Disable
off.
that. Although I love the Iconian set, except on my Bird of Prey for some reason. It looks weird.
I actually kind of like the when you see it in the light. I actually like the default material for this.
Really interesting design.
It's a new. Pretty much all the Klingon ships needed new materials. They're all really unique materials. So so this ship has a new material for it. It's kind of weirdly like crystalline in a way when you get some certain specularity.
Yeah.
And again, that's all just from the show. That's just what it looked like.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a face, and the deflector is literally breathing out.
Yeah.
Like, it's a dragon, you guys. You can fly a dragon.
Yeah, that is.
Which is totally something a Klingon ship would be.
But you can start to see, when you get to different angles, you can kind of start to see the detail of the material.
I had no idea that was hollow.
Yeah, it's a really cool little hole there. For no reason other than it looks cool, but that's awesome. And it's got these sweet wingeding things. I really like, so you can kind of see it in this material, but you can really see it on some of the shield things. These look like the bones of an ancient creature,
right?
And like some of the materials you can fly with. I don't know if I have any of them on me. Really make it pop. No,
it looks
not
like it looks like a skull.
Yeah, it's like a skull mouth thing going on.
Skull for the engine. Yeah, it's one of those ships that because on Discovery you only see it in passing, like it's scooting on by or shooting at somebody. You don't really get the chance to appreciate how pretty this design is, and it is really pretty.
Yeah.
Is this another Tobias?
Yeah, Tobias did the model, and I made the material, and
That's awesome.
So I sent the material off to him, and he applied it to the ship.
I like that blue hue.
Yeah, it's got a blue, really strong blue specularity to it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of metallic and reflective. It's a really interesting.
Yeah, it's metallic and reflective, but it looks organic. Like it looks like reflective skin.
That was what I was trying to do based on the reference we had.
Yeah.
I was trying to hit that, and so I was actually pretty happy with how it came out.
Yeah, that's really pretty. You should be very happy with how it came out. So any cool details that I haven't already pointed out that we should look at on this ship?
The engines are weird. If you go on the back and look at the engine section, scroll down, they're kind of like in that little like cage.
Oh, whoa, it's like a organ.
Accelerate, can we see the trail?
Yeah.
This is, hold on.
I want to see the trail.
F2.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been cool if it was like 40 lines coming out of there, but...
Yeah, I think you've got impulse visuals on right now.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Oh, the ship is leaving us.
No.
Stop!
Let's see. Yep. Okay, let's try that again.
You still have visuals in your visual slot?
What? Okay, let's just pull that out. There we go. Those are very Klingon lines. Whoa.
But so you're getting some cool reflections.
Yeah, this is such a Geiger-esque ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really their whole MO, right? The Klingons' MO is
Yeah.
in Discovery is a very Geiger Gothic kind of mix.
Yeah. No, I have no desire to warp out. Thank you. Cool. Well, all right. I'm going to let poor Jeremy come in and sit down. But thank you very much for joining us, guys. These ships look amazing.
Thanks.
I can't wait to fly them around in game.
Bye, everybody.
And, we'll see you soon.
Hope you enjoy them.
Yeah, you notice that? I just tell them they can leave and they just jump up and get out immediately. Thomas
work
has
to
to
do.
think about waving goodbye. I see how it
Couldn't
is.
leave fast enough.
Yeah. All right. I need to log into something else to get at your character you made, don't I?
Well, you need to import it.
Oh, all right. Cool.
So go to character select.
1 second. First, I have to go to putting your name on the screen. Jeremy 2, which is your correct title, because that's after you got promoted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant I'd been demoted below to a Jeremy lead. He became Jeremy 1 somehow.
Yeah, that's. I don't think I've had him on the stream yet, actually. I should get him on.
Oh, yeah, you should.
He's a cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
God, that looks cool. Just that ship floating off there in orbit. I really like this new login screen. By the way, this is the new login screen. You've seen it on Tribble already.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. Okay, so how do I do this?
from here, well, I don't remember the path, but I sent it to you on Teams. Do you have that handy?
Yes. In a moment.
And then we'll just do import character.
Okay. You ready?
I'm sure it starts with that.
Uh-huh. Then, yep. Yep.
Remember most of it.
Okay.
And then what did I call it?
Brandtest.con.
Look at that. Con. Oops, I forgot the most important part.
There we go.
So this will kick you back out to log in. You come back and the
Yep.
character will be there.
So for those of you who are wondering, what we just did is what you're always doing when you send a character to Tribble. So that was Dev Magic. It was not like Dev Magic.
And its name is Tester 2.
Tester 2. What original
It's
name?
my second test character.
All right. So before we dive in, let's go to our gala like usual.
I will. So I made a build for Mike, but it's not a Spartan build. This is basically like I'm on the stream in half an hour.
Well, Jeremy is on. Yeah. So Jet called in sick today, and then was like, "Hey, can you have Jeremy come into my place?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll totally ask him." And then forgot to until 3:30. So Jeremy's a good sport and is here. Thank you, Jeremy. Today again has been nuts, especially losing a day for getting my face drilled yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Teeth surgery.
Yes.
Teeth surgery.
That won't
Stop
get
it.
clipped. That won't
Stop
get
it.
clipped.
Cthulhu says Bork build white levelist gear. Grumpy
that would be if he came by exactly at 4. By the way, you're on the stream in a half an hour by.
Okay, so let's get the two obvious questions out of the way first. Number one, the fact that the trait is not providing the cooldowns that were listed in the blog is a bug. Jet confirmed that with me this morning, and she's going to take a look at that and get that fixed, most likely for next week.
I actually already fixed it today because I happened to be in the right branch and saw the bug. So
Jeremy has already fixed that today.
It was providing the correct cooldown. It was not providing a tooltip that indicated that it was.
Got it. So it works. If you have the trait right now, it works. It just doesn't say it works.
There is a bug part about it, though. It's not providing the correct maximum hull bonus that it should.
Okay.
Which somebody else pointed out correctly.
Cool.
Fixed as well. It will soon be back to its full glory.
Yep. The second part is that the Seesaw description is wrong. It says that you get frigate pets with this ship. You do not. And I apologize for that. We tried to catch that in advance, and I guess we didn't catch it everywhere.
We didn't.
So that'll get fixed, I'm guessing, next week as well.
That's one of those things that happens in design when you think you have everything that you need for a ship. McGee frigates are actually the size of this ship's saucer. It can't launch those.
Yeah, it looked...
And we didn't really realize that until we were playing around with what we thought was close to finished products.
Yeah. So there is a test version. In fact, when I was first taking pet screenshots, I had to get up from my desk and go, "Does this thing really launch McGee's?" To which Jet went, "No, what's happening?"
But at one point it was planned to, and
Yeah.
part of that came from we were playing around with the Koj, and it's a much bigger ship. So when we had it set up to launch some type of Klingon frigate pet, it wasn't so out of place. Still a little on the high end, and we stretch that sometimes because we think we can get away with it. And we know players like the bigger pets anyway because you can see them.
Yeah.
And seeing your pets is important
It's
to
fun.
enjoying them.
Yes.
But then we switched back to the Baran after that, the Cardenas / Baran, and realized our mistake. There's only so far you can stretch realism, even in a game. And we do try to respect the IP in that sense. We don't want to make everything... I mean... Yeah, we make some things wacky. You can summon a plasma torpedo in space, or a plasma tornado in space if you want to.
Yeah.
But I just noticed it didn't pull over my bridge officers or my
It doesn't seem to
seat
have done
setups.
that now.
That's too bad. So that's the console.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Which
show
you
it
are
off in a
astute
second.
enough to know.
Yes.
Must be
'Cause
shown
I had
off.
to take screenshots of it.
So I built this basically to be a mega tank, so hopefully you won't die. But that
Okay.
also means that it's
And
not
that
gonna
is
do
kind
a
of the
lot.
purpose of this ship. Yeah, it's a mega tank.
I would say it's not its sole purpose, but it can serve that role very well.
Okay.
In fact, this console, the Ion Storm generator, y'all are hopefully seeing. We remember to turn on the game. Yeah. Okay.
I actually never turned it off.
Good. Is built to support that. If you're running this while your threatening stance is alive, is active, so you're already generating an additional threat. Using Ion Storm makes even more threat.
Yeah.
So it's a very good. It's a very good taunt power. Make everything shoot at you.
Yeah.
So using it in context with something like feedback pulse, so you start hitting people in return for the hit shots they're firing at you. Good combo.
Yeah. So you did not design the ship. Jet designed the ship. So I'm sort of asking you to guess the answer to this question. But I think you talked with her enough about it during the process that you probably know the answer. As I'm sure you saw when this ship was first announced, when these ships were first announced, the initial reaction to the BOF layout was, I would rather suffer the destruction of Romulus 1,000 times. I would rather die in agony. So can you talk to us a little bit about what the thought process was behind that BOF layout and how it actually helps this ship?
Most of this comes from what Jet and I have referred to as comparative design, we have a lot of ships that we create in this game, and we've been kind of in a difficult position with Discovery. One that's interesting to design around, but I can't deny how difficult it is, in that we have a lot of cruisers. And that's just what most Federation ships of the line are. They are going to qualify as a cruiser of some sort. And there's not a ton of design space within what a cruiser is to flex and make sure that this one has an identity that is departure enough from this one to make them each uniquely appealing in their own ways. So that's a challenge that we have to face, and that causes us to make decisions that sometimes players don't agree with. But I think that the layout of the ship is completely viable. I strongly feel that it's completely viable, and anyone that was upset about it can talk to me offline.
Yeah.
Catch me outside.
Please don't catch Jeremy outside. I don't know how he would fare in a fight. I don't want to find out.
Not very well.
I mean, yeah.
There is honestly the biggest complaint that I saw from that feedback was that a ship without a lieutenant commander tactical seat doesn't have enough teeth to be viable in our end game.
Yeah.
Jet and I actually sat down that morning. What was that, Tuesday when we announced
Tuesday.
it, to talk about the feedback and see whether or not there was enough weight behind that feedback, to see whether or not we needed to take any sort of action. Maybe not on this ship in particular, but maybe we needed to review lieutenant rank tactical abilities and see if they needed room to grow or anything like that. What it came down to in our analysis, at least, is that the difference between a lieutenant and a lieutenant tactical is mostly about cost of opportunity and not about actual performance.
So what does that mean in English?
It's the difference between 3 seats or 2.
Okay.
And if in a vacuum, the difference was between 3 seats on a lieutenant tactical and 2 seats on a lieutenant, you have 1 fewer power from which you can choose.
Sure.
This ship has 2 lieutenants, so the total number of tactical seats is right in the ballpark with other cruiser-type ships. It's not going to suffer in the regards to cost of opportunity, number of seats. Mm-hmm. In fact, it has an additional lieutenant rank universal that you can use for even more tactical if you really feel like that's something that you're missing out on in your build, which is completely viable. I think that's what I tried on this guy at some point, but then I threw it back into engineering so that you wouldn't die. But then the buff seats didn't propagate across the transfer, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, there's different ways of playing. I think that we talked about the propagation of information was one thing that came up in our conversation between Jet and I on this subject.
And I think Jet and I talked about that as well, but yes, continue.
There are a lot of conceptions about the way that STO works overall that are based on information that is perhaps old, perhaps not entirely accurate, perhaps just an opinion. There's a lot of opinions that probably have mostly truth to them in regards to game builds. There's a lot of room to toy around with how STO works, and a lot of those opinions aren't wholly wrong, but they might not tell the whole picture. However, as is the nature of the internet, if you hear somebody say something that sounds right, it's very easy to just believe it's right and then tell somebody else. And then they might believe that it's right.
To be fair to players, our game, as we've discussed many times, it does not do a great job of describing every single thing in the game and how they all work.
But I actually think that there's a strength to that because, frankly, STO is not terribly difficult for the bulk of the game if you're playing a normal, which is what we consider our normative experience. Our goal as systems designers is really to take that play space, which isn't meant to be a slog, it isn't meant to be difficult or deadly to you, and turn it into something where it's more of a playground, where you can experiment with a lot of different things and have your own brand of fun that is effective enough that you're not holding back your team or you're not failing at your content or anything.
You have to have a specific type of build to play the game.
Yeah. We don't really... We know there's... Good flying right there.
Thanks.
Expert.
Half the ship died. It's fine. It's fine.
Case in point, you can be a not great pilot. It's all
Can
about
you just
really
look at something here for me.
It's really all about just finding your brand of fun.
Yeah.
And we understand that there's a metagame. We understand that there are DPS chasers. We can't cater to them wholesale, but we do like to keep them in mind. And agreeing with their evaluation of certain things is actually something that continues to drive systems design forward. Mm-hmm. Having somebody like Spartan Jet, who came from that community of min-maxing builders, now on the team, has also kind of opened our eyes to certain expectations of the ways that things work and how some of the synergies in our game are well, in some ways, frankly, out of control. But they can lead to really fun moments in different ways. We like to liken shipbuilding in a way to kind of like deck building would be in like a collectible card game, like Magic or other games of that sort, where we just want to give you cool cards. Yeah, a little bit. We just really want to give you cool cards and see what decks you come up with.
Yeah.
But we really want to make sure that each individual card that we create, in this case a ship or a console or a starship trait, can fit somewhere. That's really our ultimate goal here.
Someone was asking what the range on the console's power is.
I believe it's a 5K radius around you, but it might go out to 10. We did a little bit of effects trickery here, if you can trigger it again.
Yeah.
When you activate it, most of this smoke and ion storm that you see around you is actually just on your screen. We're not filling the map with an ion storm. We're just making it feel to you like we're doing that. Well, most of the effects that other players will see or that you might see when another player activates it is really just the lightning storm tight around your ship and then the hit effects of when it actually affects other ships around you.
Got it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So it makes you get the flavor of the fantasy of using this thing, but it doesn't really clutter up everybody's screen.
We should consider that for the Bacon of Callus, because that thing blinds me all the time.
Yeah, I've been meaning to investigate that and see if it can be improved in some way.
Okay, so let's see.
I like that you said bacon, by the way.
Yeah.
Bacon.
So Karen Rian has a question about the turn rate. This is a relatively small ship with the turn rate of a much, much larger ship. Is that because, as Thomas was mentioning earlier, Discovery-era ships just don't tend to get that big, but this is sort of our Dreadnought?
It's weird because Discovery eras on a whole, Discovery era Fed ships on a whole are of a size larger than what we would consider average for Fed ships.
Yeah.
But then they don't get much bigger.
Yeah.
They're just pretty much all in that pocket, all slightly bigger than what you might expect, but not huge.
Yeah.
So yes, it is probably slow on that, but as we mentioned earlier, this is it can be an extremely tanky ship. When we design a ship that's got a high hull modifier that's meant to take a beating, we ask it to sacrifice some of its turn rate in return for that resiliency. Yeah. It's a pretty common design trope for our cruiser type ships, especially. Yeah, and if you notice, like the hull modifier, if I remember offhand, is like 1.4 or 1.5. It's really high. It's among the highest hull modifiers for a C-store ship that players can get a hold of. And if you get the fleet version, it goes up by an additional 10% above that, so it's even higher. This is a very resilient ship.
And if you buy the bundle, you get the fleet version.
You
get a fleet ship module
a deep bonus
that you could then use to. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we were doing that. The module.
The bundle gives you a fleet ship module.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I completely forgot about the bundle.
Yeah. Well,
I thought you
pay more attention.
Ships.
No.
I forgot about all the other toys we were throwing in this time around.
Let's see. Someone was asking when these ships are coming out. Probably because both the blog and the launcher said May 25th for a couple of days. Because
you have to wait a whole month.
They're out. They're out right now. You can purchase them in the Z Store this minute.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're starting to call it the Zen Store now, guys. Just so you're aware when you see me saying that, because you spend Zen there, you don't spend C there. You haven't spent C there in about 6 years.
That was a funny conversation for us to have. We were like, why do we call it C Store? Well,
because we always have.
Yeah.
I had that conversation with Champions, because I wrote a Champions blog that mentioned the C-Store, and Julia was like, it hasn't been the C-Store in 6 years. Why would you call it that? I'm like, oh, Star Trek's never changed.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
We didn't talk about what the actual Starship trait
Grumpy Old
does.
Nord wants to know why Kurland is not an Admiral yet. It's because he's a screw-up, but please, you can tell us that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. He's a total screw-up. He has lost control of Deep Space Nine 3 times, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And that was because we cut some content. It used to be 5 times, I believe.
All right, let's talk about the trait.
All right, so this is, you can see on screen a couple of the problems that do exist. It does reduce your bridge officer recharges, or rather, speeds them up. So this isn't going to be like some powers we have in the game. When you click the thing and it triggers, your cooldowns immediately go chunk.
Yeah.
This won't do that.
Instead,
it'll just speed it up for the next several seconds, 15 seconds, whenever you trigger it, by use of any command officer, bridge officer ability, or auxiliary to struct.
Yeah.
Aux destruct, which is another tanky power.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff in command that makes you more tanky as well. or group buffs and things like that. It's really what the ship's primary strength is meant to be messaged as. So activating any of those increases your maneuverability, gives you extra hull regen, extra hull capacity, which will be 10% when we get that fix in.
Yeah. Graph apparently the launcher still says May 25th because there's that bug where if I change the thing in the first slot, it doesn't change. I'll fix that when I get back to my desk.
We never mess anything up, Mike. It's okay.
Anyway.
Also, I think if you hover over the console, it's got some passive stats, which I believe are also tanky.
This one here.
The one with the cooldown going.
Yeah.
Yeah, more hull.
Yep, more hull.
More shield.
Yeah, so that's great. Okay, this is a command ship, we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I've never flown a command ship before. What does that mean?
So command is, well, first of all, it has a seat
Yeah.
that can allow you to use command bridge officer abilities.
Right.
That's the primary thing that defines it as a command ship, is that it has a commander rank spec seat. But the other thing is that it has these ship abilities, which you can see in the little UI down there, which are on command ships known as inspiration. There's a little bar underneath there that's currently zeroed out because it decays over time. But you, as it says there, you build inspiration whenever you activate bridge officer abilities, and command bridge officer abilities build additional inspiration.
It wasn't building up during combat, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Well, I have no bridge officer, so that's what
Correct.
I was doing wrong.
Right. And then once it's full, you can activate any of these 3 abilities, which will empty the bar. Basically, is a build up and cash out mechanic.
Got it. And so, are command ships sort of designed for a specific, like, do you normally see tanky command ships, or are they designed for a wider range than that?
Most of the command ships that we've created do tend to be on the tankier side of builds, but it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that they can do. Just like we, not too long ago, released a Miracle Worker Raider, which is Miracle Worker ships were originally thought of as these big tanky ships, but then we put it on a Raider. It happened to work really well. So there's nothing saying that we won't eventually at some point make a command Raider or science ship. In fact, I'm thinking one of the Sona. I think they have a command.
They have a command science
vessel.
You're right.
So yes, generally team support is really the theme, the overarching theme of the command specialization and the inspiration abilities and everything like that. Because most of the effects have the opportunity to improve your entire team, including in many opportunities pets, which this comes with a hanger to make some use out of that, even when you're solo.
That's cool.
I like against all odds. Because damage.
Yeah, more damage.
And it cuts your weapon power cost drastically. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's ever for everybody.
For your entire team, yeah.
That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
And the turn the tide is, we're not going to die.
Right. There's some really fun command bridge officer abilities. Of course, I'm biased. I made them all.
Yeah, right,
but,
of course.
I really enjoy things like overwhelm emitters, where you can mark a target, and then anybody that shoots at that target gets a shield heal.
Oh, that's
their
cool.
shield is takes additional damage from incoming damage. There's a whole bunch of like team supporty stuff that can be helpful to you, but also really ruin the enemy's day. What's the one I'm thinking of? Suppression Barrage, which does a damage reduction to anything that you hit with it, and it can be used alongside Fire at Will. So especially in a tank build, if you just want to tell everybody to chill out for a bit, by weakening their outgoing damage, you're making your whole team more survivable.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of the dad of the ship, saving everybody.
Yep.
All right. Well, does anybody have any questions about these particular ships and their build, and what can we do for you? Let's see. Hi, Deanna. Deanna just joined. Let's see.
In case it wasn't clear, the Koj comes with the same console and the same starship tray as well.
Caladrius Zero has a good point in that Kurland should be an admiral because every admiral we've ever met in Star Trek is incompetent, except Caldwell. Caldwell's fairly competent.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he belongs in that chair. I just don't.
You don't think he belongs in the chair he has either.
I don't think so. In fact, he's not sitting in a chair. If you find him on Deep Space Nine, he's standing
dramatically looking out the window, going,
contemplating.
Oh God, they're going to figure it out any second. Kurland has the worst imposter syndrome.
Court martial.
Yeah. Let's see. Flygande tune-in. We talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Both ships came with frigates and their original design, and somehow that description made it through to the Z store. And that's getting fixed very soon. But they both are definitely meant to come with the shuttle fighter pets.
Right.
Which I didn't launch at all during that fight because I forgot they were there.
I
because
believe
they
these
weren't in my bar.
were custom built for this ship.
They are, yeah.
We may end up reusing them on future Discovery era ships, but these are the Class C, which are the cool Discovery shuttles you would see on screen.
Yeah.
It's parked right there on the edge of the screen. I don't know if you can have two over.
I can. That's matter. I can. There we go.
Yeah,
there it is. You got some sweet purple lines on them.
That's the
that's the
glass,
reflection.
I think.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Class C shuttles. The and then the Koj comes with the Mokai fighters that the sarcophagus had, but slightly different.
The ones on the sarcophagus we classified as raiders. The same ship art.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately we don't have reference for additional Klingon fighters from the Discovery era, and rather than invent something that might end up being
totally wrong.
We just decided to reuse it. They're about fighter size anyway. So the ones on the sarcophagus are raiders. They have the cool "when I die, I make my owner stronger." The ones on the Koj are more like classic fighters. They're faster. They don't hit quite as hard, but they have a special ability. Unfortunately, I forget what the special ability is on both of these.
Well, that's fine because they're right here.
Beam overload and aceton beam. So that's. I don't think that's the same on the Koj though. I think that their ships have something other than aceton beam.
Well, let's find out. What does aceton beam do?
Aceton beam is a targeted damage over time, and it reduces their outgoing damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At least I hope that's right.
Someone will tell us in chat if it's not.
Yeah, sure will.
Yep. Calidria Zero asks, have you considered going down the ship class route, small, medium, and large, now that the tier system will be mostly going away, since we're tier 6 ships to fly at any level, so you can make the ships more mission-specific?
I'm not sure what small, medium, large is really referring to. I think we
physical size of the ship, honestly.
I think most of our classifications or ships we've fine-tuned and refined over the years to the point where by and large, we're pretty happy with them. There's a few outliers there that we're like, why is that a what? But those are generally on a ship-by-ship basis. The classes themselves at least make sense to us.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's a basic version. They'll probably get a better ability later on.
Okay.
But if you look on the Dilithium store, I think you'll be able to buy at least the purple version.
Ones, which hail. These guys? No.
Sure hope we put them in here.
There we go. Advanced Mokai Fighter.
Dead yet?
What up, nerd? How's it going? Yeah, aceton
good.
beam. It is aceton beam. Okay. Apparently, you were correct on aceton beam, and also it stops them from firing torpedoes. Is the information I was told to give you.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's what it
Hi,
does.
Jesse.
Hello.
Let's make sure you're on camera. You're not.
Scooch. Get your beautiful face in here.
There we go. Yeah. I want to make sure we get all that reflection on screen. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, fixing little things here and there. Just
Nice.
had a report that during your gauntlet, the Orions are playing both sides and won't attack you if they spawn in, so I'm going to try and tackle that one this afternoon.
Just leave that one. Just leave that one.
They're here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes getting the
Listen,
half-hour
before
lockout,
they got there, I gave them a bunch of gold press platinum, and now they're on our side.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. Or
But if
apparently I gave them the...
That means you can't kill them, so you can't.
Right, you can't complete the...
can't complete the
Boo.
TFO.
Yeah,
that sucks.
So,
Woo! That's fun. Hey, speaking of the Orions and giving them things, I have a request for you from my chaotic good Klingon playing heart.
Okay.
Can we change the Klingon duty officer mission that pops up all the time where you're selling slaves to Orion slavers to, like, you're giving prisoners to something that isn't slavery?
I don't know. Slavery is an important part of their cultural heritage.
But not my culture. The Orions, sure, but not the Klingons.
So, I don't know if you noticed, but you have a choice. You don't have to do those
I
missions.
know, but they pop up all the time, and I'm just going hit. Oh gosh darn it, it's slavers again.
I'm not sure that you're chaotic good anymore, buddy.
You don't decide that. You're not my dungeon master. Wait, 2 of my 5 dungeon masters are sitting in this room right now.
Man.
Yeah, there's 2 lunch games, and there's
Oh.
the game my friend Ben runs that we play about as often as we play your game. And
cue someone screaming about you playing games instead of fixing bugs.
Yeah. On my
Yeah.
Saturdays.
there's probably somebody who would yell at me for feeding my daughter instead of fixing bugs, to be perfectly
Probably
honest.
true.
But, you know. All right, well, Al's here, so we're
So
going
I
to do
think
some
it's
Rise of
the
Discovery Q&A.
content
Jesse, you're
hour.
welcome to hang out, but Jeremy, get out.
Bye.
Oh!
Early. It's okay.
You're a minute early.
We're pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah.
Toasty in here.
But thanks for coming, Jeremy.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming, Jesse.
toasty in here.
It is toasty in here. It is always toasty in
It
here.
smells like game developer.
There's pretty much nothing I can do about it, I've discovered. Although that did not stop Andre last time he was here from saying, "Hey, can you make sure it's a little cooler in there the next time we do a stream?" I was like, "No, I actually can't. I can't open a window.
Can
There's
we?
no AC."
The AC is over on the other side. So this was my old office.
Really?
Yeah. And it was controlled.
Well, we lost Al while we looked for AC, folks.
Thermostat is in that room.
Oh,
Controls
okay.
these 2 rooms.
Well, that's
And
weird.
this office was always hot.
Okay.
This is my
Good to
old
know.
This is my old office.
All right, from when you were briefly Magic Boy.
When I was Magic Boy.
Yeah. That's a great hat, by the way.
Science.
I can't believe someone just commented on that shirt. I can't believe it's the first time you've worn that shirt on stream. I
Is it
think
the
I've
first
seen
time?
it a million times.
It's the best shirt ever. It's so meta. It's
Yeah.
just awesome.
Yeah. Really takes a high IQ to understand that shirt. All right, so welcome, Al. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Not tired either.
Not at all.
I'm usually
Definitely not.
exhausted, but I'm okay.
Well, you've
we're
already
good.
got all the recording done now. Like you got the
That
2
was
big
exhausting.
stars done. You know.
Yes.
Poor Reiko was here for like 8 hours getting hers done.
Yeah, but she was having fun.
She was.
She was having fun. So she was here. Her poor flight got delayed, and they
Yeah.
lost her luggage. And
Yeah.
then, and so we started late, and then we did some VO, and then we had some interviews lined up, so we had to do that. So I took a break from that, and then she met the team, and
Yeah.
did some more VO, and then come and did some stuff with you.
Yep, and I've heard some of the stuff she recorded, specifically that one cutscene we keep all passing around, and oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Have you not seen it yet? The cutscene with everybody's voices put in now?
Oh, I haven't seen. I've
The
seen
one that used to be with
I haven't-
Scott Scratch
Yeah,
Truck?
I haven't seen Jason Isaac in it yet.
Yeah, he's in there now.
Okay.
I sent out an email last week. I'll forward it to you so you can watch it. It's great.
I know. It's awesome.
I
No,
know.
I mean, it's
I know you know.
some of our it's arguably our best story content that we've made. It's
Yeah.
just and most powerful, impactful story that we've made.
Grumpy Old Nerd wants to know how long Isaacs was here. Isaacs was actually not here because he lives in London.
I believe the question was addressed to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue. Please, Al. Thank you.
Isaac
Hold on,
was-
I'll wear the
was
the Asker hat.
Isaacs was not here. He was in London, recording remotely. Though he lives over there. So
Flygon Tunin wants to know if we can get a sneak peek of this cutscene I just mentioned.
no.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer, but I want to answer this question.
There's a scene with Klingons in it.
Yay!
Okay. There's your sneak peek.
Did you do your usual recording with your phone from the speaker of Jason recording?
I have some.
I have
some. I didn't label them, so maybe I hope I don't drop a spoiler.
Yeah, maybe don't do that live on the stream.
Fine.
Okay.
It's fine. What could go wrong?
The inmates run the asylum, guys. I have no power here.
Let's see what I got.
Commander. Can we shoot it to set it off?
Yeah, I don't want to share that
Yeah,
one.
that's from
I
that.
don't want to share that one.
Give me a phaser. I'll be damned if I can.
That's a fine one. We can
Okay.
do that.
All right, put it up near the mic.
Right here?
All right, Jason Isaacs, everybody.
Give me a phaser. I'll be damned if I go down without a fight. Great. I think it's time. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
I love the switch from I'll be damned if I go down with a fight to I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, what's really jarring is I've seen Jason Isaacs on other interviews on TV but it's still really jarring to hear him as Lorca,
Yeah.
and then his normal British accent
Yeah.
is
I mean, honestly, I know that he's Lucius Malfoy. Like, logically, I know that, but I can't see it. I can't see it.
I can't. Yeah, you can't. It's so different.
Yeah.
We're losing essential ship systems. Now would be a good time. We're losing essential ship systems. Now would be a good time.
No.
I mean, it's not that interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
fun.
don't disagree, Captain, but we're at war. Things have a tendency to get irregular.
It's a fun one.
All right, go for it.
Let's go with that. I'll pause it if it's like starts giving too much. Let's see. All right, here's a little Isaac sneak peek.
I don't disagree, Captain, but we're at war. Things have a tendency to get irregular in situations like this. Some of our prisoners are high-ranking members of the House Mokai. The secrets they know are important to the Klingons.
That's enough.
That's enough. That's what you get.
Enough. Well, that wasn't too bad because if the users hasn't been clear, right? The Operation Riposte that's on the TFO
Apparently
right
it's
now.
Riposte.
Riposte?
Yeah, that's what John told me. He looked it up.
Who did?
John Hegner.
Oh, well, too bad because everyone read it as Riposte. It's already
I just
done.
want to get away. Well, I keep saying, thank God it's not another reimagined TFO, so we don't get the Operation Repost jokes.
Okay, repost. Yeah, I know that would have been unfortunate. But it's a prequel to the story that's coming up, right? Because it's the Baran. You're helping the Baran, re-secure Pryor's world, and you're helping them take Klingon prisoners. And so the story basically picks up right after that TFO, which is why I released the TFO first as a prequel.
To lead you into the story.
Yeah, and just so it's Patel who's the mission giver and the contact in that episode, and you might remember Patel from she was the officer in Tilly's Agonizer booth in the Pavo episodes. So we've seen her before, sort of, but now we see Prime Patel. But when season 17 comes out, it will be replaced with Jason Isaacs will be the contact for Operation Riposte.
Matthew Klein,
Rise of Discovery.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We had this big talk about how, like, with
I-
marketing, about how we weren't going to call them seasons
I give
externally
up.
now. No, everyone gives up on me.
Yeah,
Matthew Kleinman wants to know, so is this Prime Lorca?
it will be both.
Oh.
You will see a little bit of both.
Ooh,
That's okay.
okay. So we're going to get to see, without spoiling too much, we're going to get to see how the switch occurred then.
Not necessarily, but I won't say that. But I think we're doing 2 episodes, so
Yeah.
so I'll leave it at that.
Lots of stuff to cover. Let's see. So folks who are asking questions about bugs with animation or talking about the new Reputation, Al doesn't do that. Don't ask Al those questions. We're asking about Rise of Discovery, upcoming content, story, stuff like that. Let's see. Someone says, Cthulhu says Rise of Discovery. I like that. That's what our summer event should be called this year. Rise of Discovery.
Yeah,
there
that's
we
good
go.
thinking. It's clever.
Okay, Flygonde Tunin wants to know, is this story bit with Lorca taking place before Disco Captains end up in the 25th century?
Yes. So these episodes will be retconned. I mean, kind of retconned, but they'll be squeezed in. This, if you were making a new character, and you make a new Discovery era character, you'll play the tutorial, and then this will be the first episode after the tutorial. So it'll take place before the episode with the Glenn that's currently
Before Secrets and Downfall.
Before Secrets and Downfall. So that's where these episodes will take place, is in there. They will not take place in 24/9. Both of these are 2256 episodes, and but existing characters can play it like you can play some of the other episodes as a simulation kind of thing.
So it's just
We're just letting you play it for fun, and it's fine. We won't be swapping your ship out or anything like that. You'll just be going there as a historical reenactment kind of thing.
So you'll get, Jim Pock or somebody saying, you can go back in time and see this mission happening.
See, he's done it
for a
before.
historical mission.
Yeah.
That was my first time attempting a Jim Pock impression.
It's not time travel. It's someone had mentioned that it was time travel, but it's not.
It's not. It's just a historical reenactment. Maybe a historical simulation. If I say historical reenactment, that brings to mind,
like
2409 nerds get dressing up in 2256 uniforms and firing blank phasers at each other.
They did that, right? I mean, they only used the holodeck for Like if I had a holodeck, I wouldn't be doing historical things. I mean, I would do some, but I'd also want to do things in the future. What is a Star Trek, character's future holodeck episode look like? Yeah. Future holodeck a simulation. What would you do if you're in Star Trek and wanted to do a sci-fi adventure?
Yeah, that would be cool.
What is it?
I really want to do
because we do Star Wars or Star Trek or some other type of some other sci-fi thing that we'd want to imagine that was technology we couldn't imagine. What did they imagine?
Yeah. That's a very interesting.
Let me know your thoughts. What do the characters of Star Trek imagine the future will be?
Mesatius says, with a holodeck, they could actually experience what love finally is.
That's very good.
Jerry T says, SW says it's probably cyberpunk. They would be super into cyberpunk. I can see that. I can see the Federation people having a lot of like Terran Empire like adventure and romance holodeck novel things. You know what I mean? Did you just put a hand on your phone?
I wanted to see if it was ringing. I heard a buzz, and I wanted to know if it was ringing. I
thought you were protecting my phone from your ideas.
No, I was trying to be sly about it, and you pointed it out.
Sorry,
so.
buddy. Sorry, my bad. Let's see. Someone was asking about the Tier 6 scaling ships. I know that's not exactly your area, but was that questions, launching with Rise of Discovery? Yeah, so that's launching with Rise of Discovery. And for even better news, it's launching on consoles on the same day it's launching on PC.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, we're doing it all at once. Okay. So consoles will get that right away. Let's see. Because the Discovery episodes are currently in 3 different tabs, will they ever be merged into one tab in the future?
They will be merged into 2 tabs in the future.
Okay.
There will be a 2256 like Age of Discovery arc, which is what's there, and then there'll be some sort of like New Age of Discovery. I don't know, whatever. Right? That is the 2409.
Did you know that if you sleep with time crystals, it really improves your circulation? New Age of Discovery.
The New Age of Discovery.
While you're listening to Ed, you sleep with the time crystals.
Flavor time crystals.
Yeah.
So there'll be a second. There's the 2409 or 2410 arc, and then there's the 2256 arc, and so we're building all of those as we can, and we do some in one and sometimes other, and sometimes we'll split them up. Yeah. Obviously the Mirror of Discovery one is the 2409. That eventually probably won't be called Mirror of Discovery, and eventually be part of the 2409 New Age of Discovery arc.
This is just something I'm telling you because you're here. I don't know if you saw the survey results I just sent out, but the DOT-7s, those little repair guys, awesome. Super popular.
Yeah.
Everybody wants them. Just let me know.
I want them. Little freaking R2 units, man.
Right? They're super cute.
As fast as we can make stuff you see on Discovery, we will put it into the game, you know. So all the things that you want, and like, oh, I want that. Yeah, we want them all too. There's also a pipeline issue with CBS and getting the assets, so that way we can make them accurate, and so that's also a factor. But it's just also how much we can build. So, but yeah, DOT-7s. I won't even mention it because I'll just rile people up. But I've seen all the comments of the stuff that people want, and we want them all too.
Well, and I compiled all the things
to you
too. So.
What's that? Yeah, we want all the things. As a matter of fact, it just came from a meeting of assets that we wanted for the next 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I sent that right on time then. Yeah, except I don't think anybody looked at it before you got to that meeting.
No, it's just me and Bill were just talking about all the things that we want. Oh, we want that, we want that, we want that. And
nice. Nice. You should look at the thing I sent you and then go back and do it again.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm sure it's probably pretty similar. I mean,
there were some surprises in there, actually. Okay. There's some things that I was...
What do you think was a surprise?
Oh, God, I gotta go through it again. The DOTs surprised me. The fact that... well, not surprised me how popular they were. I expected them to be requested, but not,
they're sweet.
Yeah. I mean, the big ones were the big obvious ones were the not surprises. Everybody wants the Discovery Enterprise. Everybody wants the TOS uniforms. Everybody wants playable Kelpians. Which, since that's all changed, maybe we can ask about that again, because what we thought was happening with the Kelpians.
I don't want to. I'd love to say why we haven't had them so far. But
that might actually be a storyline.
I might actually think that they may do later. Yeah. Because there was a reason that we weren't going to do them that CBS was going to do, and now they didn't do that. It was, maybe we can do that now, but maybe they still have... It's very cryptic. I'm sorry. But
very cryptic?
Yeah. I want the back kick that he does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the spines.
And those spines.
Shooting.
Yeah, so the traits write themselves.
Yeah, it's super easy. Yeah. And you could have a not yet evolved Kelpian whose trait is
I thought you meant non with the thing.
Oh, yeah, they want non desperately. Yeah. That was another one that surprised me. She was more popular than... she's a great character, but they want her skirt really badly. Her skirt uniform.
That's on the list.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
See that? I mean, it's hard to... It's unfortunate because sometimes I watch the show and I watch it... I watch it to watch it, but I'm also having to notes. I gotta I need that, I want that.
I end up watching episodes twice for that reason.
Yeah, so
some of them anyway. Cthulhu, no, we do not mean edible Kelpians.
Edible Kelpians. I mean, the jokes have been abound about having about having glandulous soup that tribbles eat and become something. So that sounds really horrific. But maybe a Terran tribble. Does everybody want a Kelpian food in the game? It's awful. It's awful.
Super weird. Yeah. Kelpian tribbles, though. That's a good idea for people to know.
Cannibals of Discovery.
Purge84 wants to know, what about the Section 31 ships? What about the Section 31 ships?
What about the Section 31 ships?
Which I think they want Section 31 ships.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
You should be a lead designer.
Yeah. Let's see.
All of the things. And there was more than one Section 31 ship.
There was quite a few more.
There's one for a while, and then all of a sudden...
There's 4. Yeah.
There's all these
one of them which has tons of drones.
Little drones that launch from its wings or whatever from the skin. And like, how the hell are we going to do that? Yeah. With giant nacelle-sized photon torpedoes, which I would call a photon missile. But
there you go.
That's yeah.
It is what it is. All right. Well, folks, do you have any other questions about Rise of Discovery? As much as I'd love to sit here and shoot ideas at Al all day,
I'm fine chatting, unless you got somewhere to be.
I mean, I sort of do, but I don't really.
Let's see if I got some Reka stuff.
Will we get a Section 31 reputation once that spinoff launches?
Well, maybe. I mean, there's the spinoff. I don't know when that spinoff's going to happen. Yeah. Right. So it could be in 6 months. It could be in 2 years. Who knows? I'm really looking forward to it, at least as specifically as a designer for Star Trek, because I figure it's going to be like Mission Impossible Star Trek. Yeah. Right. So it's going to be full of gadgets. I mean, we saw a couple things just already when Giorgio makes her appearance, and she's dressed as a Mokai Klingon hood, but then she's got a disguise, and she launches the little bubble thing that shoots, and then she shoots Mr. Bubble at the Klingon and puts him in the bubble and puts it in what you call it? It's the what's this stuff from
Flubber?
No, from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? So it's like, wow, that if that show comes out, it's just going to be gadget after gadget after gadget. So there's going to be all kinds of really fun stuff for the game. Yeah. So I think we're going to wait till we see more before doing more of that, and then there'll be tons of things that I'm sure we'll be able to use. And who knows how many years that gets renewed if it does. So
there's a lot of Star Trek. Did you hear about the concept for the Nickelodeon show?
Well, there's the Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, and then there's the lower, like the teenage lower decks thing or something.
There's actually another one.
They stole a ship or something.
Yeah, the group of teenagers who find derelict Federation starship and steal it. That sounds interesting to me.
It's a great time to be a Star Trek fan, right?
There's lots of stuff
all different things, and if one or more than one of them are not for you, that's okay. There's plenty to pick the ones you want, and I look forward to the time when there's so much Star Trek on TV that you don't have to watch them all. I will watch them all and enjoy them thoroughly. I am looking forward to a Picard show and a Section 31 show, and I want them all to be different. I don't want them to all be like all classics.
Yeah.
Like I want the Picard show. I hope it's more like Law and Order or something, right? It's just really weird.
I have a feeling the Picard show is going to be a lot slower paced and intellectual than that. I think that's okay.
I want it to be like that.
Yeah.
I want it to be different. I don't want Picard gallivanting across the stars, because I don't need 6 shows like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see all the different depths and different things of Star Trek universe.
The wonderful thing about Star Trek as a universe is this wonderful thing about a lot of other amazing sci-fi universes is that while it got famous for one genre, you can set any genre of thing there. You could do a heist Star Trek. You could do a Seven Samurai Star Trek.
Idea to do a heist Star Trek.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
We should do one of those.
Almost a year ago.
That's a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm really excited about all of. I mean, the Marvel universe is doing some of that. They're not doing as much as I'd like, but they've got the classic superhero stuff. But then you throw in Deadpool and have this kind of raunchy comedy, and then. And then you have Logan, which was just really dark drama, just brilliant. So good. Nothing like the rest of the superhero shows. Yeah. And then they got the New Mutants, which is a horror show, which I don't know what the status of that is. So you can do that with Star Trek. We can have all different types of genres. We don't have to have all classic gallivanting things across the wagon trail type episodes. So maybe they'll do a Pike series or a mini series or something. Even if it's just like 6-episode mini series of Pike would be really cool. I mean, they built that set.
I know, right? They gotta use it for something else.
We looked at it really close, and Thomas was telling me that that's not a redressing. Like the Section 31 bridge is a redressing of the Shenzhou bridge. If you're not aware, it's just they just take the centerpiece out, and they have
which
a lower
when we
floor.
Say just, that's not a just
it's
thing.
Not just,
but
it's a redressing of Shenzhou. So. But the Enterprise Bridge was brand new, so that's an awful big investment. So I don't know if that means they're making another show. It would seem there's certainly a high demand for it. So I'd be happy to have a Pike show that is more like classic TOS. But I like having different things. I don't want to keep seeing the same thing over and over.
Speaking of which, that was another surprise that's not a surprise. Last year, I think the most anybody ever got was in like mid-tier requests for a voice actor. Anson Mount is the second or third most demanded thing we got.
Oh, currently now? For Anson Mount?
Just Anson Mount. Please put Anson Mount in the game. Please put
He's a
Pike in
good
the game.
captain.
He's really good.
He's way better than Black Bolt.
I didn't watch it. I don't know. Let's see.
Riveting. It was just riveting.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
We still need the Klingon Council House of Cards. Al's been working on that storyline for like 2 years now, and you have ideas.
That would be that.
Did you see that Mary responded to that one post on Twitter?
Wiseman?
No, Chivo. Somebody tagged her and was like, please be in Star Trek Online game, and tagged me, and so I was like, I just said I think she knows how much we want her to be in the game, and she just said name a time and place, and I'll be there. So
I met and spoke with Chivo, and in her all 6'2" magnificence. She's tremendous, and she has tremendous presence and energy, and I would love to work with her. So, and she seems excited to be working with us, but we will see where the story takes us.
That's actually a really good point that Brad Haga makes. If we bring Anson in to reprise Black Bolt instead of Captain Pike, we can save a lot on VO costs.
It's the kind of we should do. We should just do like Black Bolt and Morn, like it's just like, and we just have like the two of them, and that's.
Oh, that would be great. I would love to have a mission where you team up with Morn, where just like there's just reasons to interrupt him from speaking throughout the entire mission. Weston would have so much fun animating that. Let's see. Did we have an interview with Reika already aired? No. Reika is actually not coming on the stream, folks. She did come into the streaming room to film some stuff with me, but I've got to edit it. It'll come out in a little while.
Hurry
up. It was like 15 minutes long.
Oh, here's some stuff. Let's see what I got.
Hurry up. Jeez.
As you've seen, the brand is needed here at Pryor's World, and her gray is no longer secure.
I'll play a little bit of that, and I'll pause it.
This is Landry. As you've seen, the brand is needed here at Pryor's World.
I'll just stop that there. Can they hear that?
I
don't know if they hear it.
They were responding to stuff, yeah.
Okay.
They were responding to the stuff earlier, so I'm pretty sure.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate, very grateful to have these opportunities to work with these fine actors.
Yeah, it's been pretty wonderful.
Reika was super, I'm so baffled how she always gets cast as this terrible murderous
I know, she's
person,
so nice.
and then gets killed all the time.
She was talking,
right?
I don't know if she mentioned this to you, she's filming a Hallmark movie right now, and she was talking about how nice it is to be like, it's so like light and fluffy, and like, I don't have to yell at anyone.
I mean, she's very namaste. She's very chill, and she's very nice, and went to dinner with her, and then she took her leftover and she gave it to a homeless person, and so she's like super nice, and she but she talks about how she went to a convention, and they gave her a posse of bodyguards or whatever to go off the convention. Why this? I want to meet the people. And one lady came out of the crowd and ran right up to her face. I hate you.
Oh my God!
And but she immediately realized that it came off creepy. Of course, it came off creepy. But she was meaning like, oh no, your character that's just Tori that just spaced.
Folks,
the chief's wife.
If you're meeting someone in real life, please remember that they haven't seen what's been going on in your head for the past 20 minutes, and that you might need to provide them with some of that context. Now, please try this. Let's try this again. Go up to Reika Sharma and say, I really love your work as an actress. Yes. Your character is despicable, and you're doing a very good job with it. I hate her a lot. Not, I hate you.
they are not their characters, and
No.
and there are definitely, you have this image, and it's the only image we have. We grow up with them sometimes, or when we see them for years, and we think that's what they're like, and they are rarely like that character.
All right, so Mima Ranglout has a question that I think is interesting, partially because I think there's some false assumptions in there you're going to have to correct.
Okay.
So he says, seeing that Season 2 has ended, do you now have carte blanche on creating new content on STO with less CBS referrals, or do you still need to go back to CBS with every new item?
Absolutely not. Do we not have carte blanche on anything Discovery related? We don't have like a tremendous amount of oversight. They're not coming in and checking on everything we're doing, but everything that we want to do, we send to them for review. So and then every so often we meet with them. As a matter of fact, I'll be meeting with them again next month, and getting some more information. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. I mean, it's also got time travel in it now, right? So anything they might do, they might retcon or change, or someone might be a secret Klingon or something, or someone might die or had been dead or come back to life or whatever.
Or we might have mentioned Discovery a lot in our game, but it turns out no one can do that on paid of traitors.
So no, it's they have their story, and we need to honor their canon, and they have plans, and plans change. And we will continue to work really closely with them on Discovery and all the new shows that come out.
Yeah. Caledrius Zero says, can you please become the showrunners for any new Star Trek? Yes, I accept. Thank you for offering me this position. I assume you're somebody who's
got offered the position.
They just said you. They must have meant me. They couldn't possibly have meant the guy who writes Star Trek stories and has been for years. And they have to have meant me. Obviously.
I think that's a fair assumption. You're doing a really good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not a Hollywood guy.
No.
I don't want Hollywood guys. I want to have like Hollywood friends and Hollywood houses, and I don't know, start drinking mimosas at noon and whatever.
Hippie John 71.
Thank you.
Says, theoretically, how would you go about doing putting stuff from a cartoon into STO?
I don't think we would make it look like the cartoon. If that's the question, would we cel shade and make it look like that? Probably not, but I'm sure there will be characters and stories, and we will just lever them and show them in our art style.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would approach it any differently. And if it was if some of them was a little more lighthearted or humorous, then we might make those episodes a little more lighthearted and humorous. Whenever we do that, whenever we bring any of those characters or stories in, we want to capture the feel of that. Yeah. So, I mean, some of our Discovery stuff is a little, it's more brutal.
Yeah.
Right. It's a little. I hesitate to use the word darker, but it's wartime, so we're capturing that. We use Quark. We do something a little more humorous, right, and lighthearted. So we want to capture that fantasy. So whatever that feel of those shows will be, we will try to capture that, but we won't make them animated.
Yeah.
And we also won't do anything. We will never take it so far that it's ridiculous. In case they do, we're talking about the writers or creators of Rick and Morty. I don't know what they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
So if it's ridiculous, we probably won't do it, but we will honor the spirit of it in any way.
Yeah. Someone asked, but it went away.
And ridiculous isn't bad, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I mean, just
might not
Rick and Morty is ridiculous,
yeah.
right? And so I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. Although Rick and Morty is bad.
Is what?
What? I didn't say anything. Somebody was asking.
Brilliant.
If where the heck did it go? Oh, if you would ever do a storyline with Control, assuming that CBS is done with that storyline.
I am up to doing a storyline with anything Star Trek related. It's absolutely I would do a story about Control or whether it's origins or its future or I would need to know more whether or not Discovery had any intention for it, right? Maybe that little Nest thermostat in the future in Calypso was actually Control now in a Nest thermostat. I don't know, right? So who knows what that?
They did sort of drag the body along to the future, so
it was kind of I noticed that. as long as CBS says, yeah, we're done with this, or this part is done, so you can have this safely, we will take that. We have storylines lined up, and so it's it takes a long time to make these. So I'd love to crank these out faster and get more and more actors, but there's just a realistic time that we can just develop. We can develop one or two every 3 or 4 months, and we've got stuff planned for about a year ahead right now. Yeah. We'll see where it goes.
Drogan says, if clearly anything goes, we've done content from Star Trek V.
Star Trek 5? So the Whales one?
No, Star Trek V is Nimbus.
We put Nimbus in the
game. Yeah,
game.
that's what he's saying. Clearly anything goes. We've done content from Star Trek V, which is
okay.
The motion light goes out. Yeah.
Should I turn the motion light on?
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and hit it. So somebody wanted to know, I saw this earlier, in terms of Discovery, Wraith Shadow wants to know, are there any characters that you want to bring in for one-off missions, like Quark's Magnificent Seven, Clark's Lucky Seven that we did? So somebody who you would want to bring in, like, just for a guest spot, something like that.
I always want to get any Star Trek actors that we can that makes sense for the story. I wish we had more time and budget to do more one-off stuff, but every so often we did. I mean, I think the last one that I can even think of is when we did the Sela episode when she, finds her daughter, right?
Yeah.
And her daughter's logs. It was mostly one-off. But it also, I mean, then the other, I guess the Zincathi one with
Renegade's Regret.
Yeah, Renegade's Regret was kind of a one-off. I mean, it
tied into the
it tied in.
large,
it was
but
it was tangential to it, right? And it takes us away from the story arc a little bit, and so I think it's sometimes it's fine to do that. Honestly, some of the Discovery stuff we're doing are almost in some ways one-offs, but we're almost kind of building them a little similar to the way DS9 used to build their stories, or even the way I would say season 2 of Discovery is, in that the main story is almost the B plot, and then the A story is a one-off. There's that, and then there's like an underlying thread that's connecting it together that should all come together nicely towards the end. But I guess if I just had to answer your question directly, I'd say Q. John Delancey.
I mean, we should get John Delancey in to voice all of his dialogue.
And then he can come back and do all the, play his John Delancey Q instead of random Q.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That would be a fun one-off, and we've had a few ideas about what we wanted to do with that, but it's just there's always so many options to do, and right now we're just caught up in so much new Trek.
For sure. All right. Can we make a jetpack episode like on episode 1 where Michael flew into an asteroid field?
We have one.
Yeah.
Solanae Sphere.
Yeah. There's a lot of jetpack episodes in this game, actually.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to the Solanae Sphere and the just before the Delta Rising arc, and you can fly around in a jetpack over the sun, over a sun in the Dyson Sphere. Yeah. Of course, want more done? Maybe, I guess so. One of the things that we can't do easily, or we wouldn't be able to do now, is combat on a jetpack, because it's all brand new animations, right?
Yeah.
If you're flying around a jetpack as an engineer, how do you place a turret on the ground?
You don't.
Right?
Yeah.
So technically right now, if you did, it would fall.
Yeah. Which would be hilarious, but not fun.
Yeah. So and because you're not walking like this, but instead you're flying like this, it's a whole new set of animations that we have to build for all the shooting this way, and the tricordering this way, and hyperspanning this way. So all of those things would have to be supported. That's why there's no combat in 0G or low G animations that we do. So
we'd love to one day, but not right now. Not for a while.
But I could see, I mean, there's a lot of EV suits and stuff in Discovery, and doing an EV suit type episode. Oh, the delay is freaking me out.
Yeah, don't look over here. Okay. So ZEF Films has a question about something that...
Hi, Zeph. Thank you for your videos.
Yeah. That I know you've forgotten about because we talked about it 6 months ago.
So there's been a player... What happened yesterday,
right? There's been a player request for us to take the Battle of the Binary Stars map and make it a memorial in-game similar to Wolf 359.
Yeah.
Have we thought about any more about that?
No.
Okay. That's what
but I agree with it. I like the idea. Just throwing it out there as just a map to visit and have more. So just so people want to check it out.
Yeah, because it's a really pretty map.
Does everyone know that if you get past the asteroid field, that you'll get sucked into the stars and die.
Yeah.
Just like it's basically the similar mechanic that's on the black hole TFL
gravity
map.
kills.
Yeah, gravity kills.
Yeah.
Man, you were just like a machine on the
It's
content
almost like
names.
that's my job.
I would think it's my job, but I can never remember them because when
No,
we
your
create-
job is to make them and put them out in the world.
Well-
My job is to hear all the feedback about them and deliver it on to you.
'Cause when we create them, we use placeholder names, and I know them all by the placeholder names, right?
Yeah.
And we live with that. I live with that, and the logical name for it of all the content inside is all, and that's what I live by. For instance, is it the Glenn episode? I think it's a Glenn episode. It's called Vulcan Disco or something like that because you're supposed to go to Vulcan in the beginning of the mission. So that's
Yep.
I know them by their logical internal names, and then someone puts a real fancy flavor name. If Jesse gets it, it's very very
Operation
academic.
Repulse was called the Landry Space TFL for a
Landry-
while, even though
Landry
Landry's
Space
not in
and
it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so
Yeah. Jeff Long, the Baran Dreadnought Cruiser is in the Z Store in-game, so just go grab it from there. It's already available on PC. It's not available on console yet, but it'll come that way soon. Kel MG96, this is a question for me that I can answer real quick. The reason that all of our stuff redirected to PC Gamer yesterday is because we gave PC Gamer the exclusive on announcing Rise of Discovery. And so they had a 24-hour exclusive. We couldn't post anything on our blogs, but we wanted to make sure that you guys still had access to the info and were directed to it. So for 24 hours, everything redirected to PC Gamer. And now this morning, they redirect back to our website. So
that's pretty common with
Yeah.
marketing practices to give exclusives to certain outlets, and so they get they make a deal and they whatever, they get a scoop, they scoop the story, and so they get that, and I don't know how that works, but it's you get an exclusive with a big outlet, so that way they make a bigger deal about it because it's their exclusive. Otherwise, everyone can just link to it, and so
so it's not
it's
not
not.
as nice.
They want everyone to go to their site, and so we give an exclusive to somebody.
Yep, and then we got a bunch of eyeballs coming our way, and that's how it works. Let's see. ZEF Films, can I get an exclusive on the Discovery Enterprise? You probably will, bro. You usually do.
Goes without saying.
Yeah.
So, who hook them up, right?
Usually Jared does, but I usually it's what happens is Zeph emails me, I email Jared. Then Jared doesn't respond to the email, and I walk the 2 steps over to his desk and say, "Hey, did you get my email?" And then he says, "Oh yeah," and then Zeph gets the ship. That's generally how that goes. On Tribble, we don't give Zeph free ships, just to be clear about that before somebody starts starting rumors. Let's see. What? Anybody got any other questions? How is the free ship token data coming? That's actually more of a Jeremy question than an Al question.
How's the
The data collection on how the free ship token has been going? So we said we were going to look at the data and decide whether to do it. We're probably going to look at the data when it's all done, to be honest. Rather than,
it's really early.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's. I mean, how long's it been? It hasn't even been a week.
Yeah.
Right. Riposte has only been out for 6 days.
Yeah.
So that's we need more data. The more you play, the more we will do. So we do stuff that you play. If you don't play it, we don't do it.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, folks, it looks like we're running out of questions. But I appreciate you all coming and joining us, and I appreciate Al coming and joining us. And we will see you next week, and we'll have more info on Rise of Discovery then.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be the best.
It's going to be amazing. Please, I can't wait to see. That was really beautiful.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate my art form.
No, I mean I know I always get excited about these stuff, but there's this one's a very special. It's a very special story, and I don't mean it like in a very special episode of Blossom story, but I mean it's a tragic story, and it's a story of trauma and PTSD, and it resonates with a lot of people, and so I hope it will move you because it's a good story.
First time I've ever cried at an STO anything, so
yeah. We had a lot of tears so far of people looking at it. So,
all right, folks. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Al, and everybody else. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.